May I ask you, Secretary of State, to address the audience? Thank you.
Nikhil, thank you very much for your warm welcome, your introduction, but also for hosting us all today as well. And I'm really pleased to be here amongst such distinguished company this morning. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigeria's Minister for Minerals, the Director General of the Nigerian Debt Management Office, the Governor of Edo State, and the CEO of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and the many, many, many sponsors that are making today possible. And, you know, I think it's quite interesting. In fact, the Governor of Edo State said earlier on that it's been 30 years since he was last here. And, you know, we stand here at the heart of our financial capital in London, the London Stock Exchange, where we have celebrated the market opening this morning. And there is no doubt we all share the power of the markets and free enterprise. But actually, if you think back to where we were 30 years ago, 3 decades ago, since the financial revolution that took place in the City of London, which some of us fondly remember as the Big Bang, when competition, innovation, globalisation, and as we saw this morning, technology were unleashed on the City of London, we have now seen the power of open markets coming together internationally in a great collaboration that we are here today to discuss, celebrate and further between our two great countries. And I just think that is phenomenal, and it's a testament to the work of everyone here in the City of London, in the Stock Exchange, but across Nigeria as well, which is why it's such a thrill to be here today with such a distinguished guest, showing the power of enterprise and expertise, but also investment for our great countries. Now, I was last here 7 months ago, launching the Companies to Inspire Africa report. And it highlighted something that I see every day, you know, Secretary of State for International Development. Some people like to call me the Minister for Aid. Well, look, I'm very clear about what I do. I don't just do aid. We do investment. We are at the forefront of pioneering investments, helping countries and economies to stand on their own 2 feet. But that report, Inspire Africa, showed very clearly how the way in which dynamic homegrown businesses are pioneering across the region of Africa. Now, 58 of those companies in that report were from Nigeria, more than any other country in Africa. Now, I think that's something to celebrate, and that, of course, is no surprise to me whatsoever. No, it was no surprise to me because I have a few insights into Nigeria. Because a decade ago, before I became a Member of Parliament, I used to visit Nigeria quite often. In fact, I was part of a British company investing in Nigeria, one of those great British brands that I know all Nigerians love and are deeply fond of, and that is Guinness. And despite the composition of the formula of Guinness in Nigeria, which is different to the UK market, it is indeed a powerful brand in every sense of the word. But, you know, of course, I saw at first hand how a great British company, a great British brand, became a local brand in Nigeria by investing in people, investing in communities, investing in jobs, investing in education and in health, but also building local capacity and expertise that enhance that great bond of trade between our two countries. And of course, Nigeria is home to Africa's largest population, the largest economy. And I was in Nigeria just 2 months ago, and, you know, reaffirmed really to me the limitless potential of Nigeria in terms of people, the economy, growth, all the really great things. But also it reminded me of some of the serious challenges that Nigeria faces. So we are there, DFID, as our second largest bilateral program in Africa. And Nigeria is one of DFID's 5 largest programs in the world. But actually, the case that was made to me once again was the need for economic diversification, private sector investment, job creation, effective governance, supporting business, open markets, investment and revenue collection. So, you know, as a politician, I have to obviously get the piece about revenue collection in there too. But the private sector is the main driver of the economy, and with one of the fastest and largest young populations growing in the world, we need to be able to be catalysing job creation in a big way. So the UK government's total investment in Nigeria in this current financial year alone is £470 million. But you've already heard me say, I'm not here as an aid minister to just give out money. We are here to help people and countries and economies stand on their own 2 feet, which is why I am redefining our relationship with Nigeria. Now, the Nigerian government, led by President Buhari, identifies some of those issues: tackling corruption, increasing investment, creating new jobs, diversifying the economy, enhancing climate resilience and boosting the living standards of Nigerians as its main policy priorities. Well, so do I as well. As an investor, on behalf of UK taxpayers, we believe that trade, investment, free markets provide the route out of poverty. And I want to help people and countries find their own path to prosperity, and that equally applies to Nigeria. We have great trading ties already. But of course, I've just done a TV interview where I was just asked about Brexit. Well, my view there is very clear. Brexit will enable us to strengthen those ties by removing many of the barriers that we see already when it comes to trade and replacing them with free and fair trade, which is fundamental to the prosperity of the world economy, the United Kingdom, but also Nigeria and our trading partners. And today we are on the verge of an unprecedented ability to liberate global trade and to the benefit of the world through technology, through new advances, but also dissolving away barriers. And time and distance matter not at all anymore. So with 1/5 of the companies listed in the FTSE 100 having a presence in Nigeria, I'm pleased that this list now includes Prudential, who are already agreeing new partnerships with the Zenith Bank in Nigeria and also other countries in Africa, but demonstrating importantly that the UK is the largest source of capital inflows to Nigeria, and of course the LSE plays a critical role to that. And of course the LSE has hosted both a $1 billion Nigeria Eurobond this year, which is just fantastic, and Nigeria's first ever diaspora bond, which raised $300 million. And of course these ties are not just about money, they are about our people-to-people ties as well. Something that I feel incredibly strong about. So it's my pleasure to congratulate EcoBank on the successful launch of the first African convertible bond to be issued on the LSE, raising $150 million of private investment. And of course, total bilateral trade between our 2 countries now is over £4 billion a year. So I want to see more. I am a challenging and ambitious Secretary of State, and I am ambitious for both our countries, but also where we go internationally too. So part of this, in terms of what I've done to facilitate this, is when I launched our own economic development strategy this year, DFID's first ever economic development strategy, I should say, which was all about fostering investment from the private sector to create jobs and growth. At the heart of that strategy, of course, is CDC, the Commonwealth Development Corporation, and many of you are familiar and will know CDC well. Last year alone, CDC invested in businesses in developing countries. That created more than 1 million jobs. Now, you've heard me speak about the jobs challenge already. We've got a few more to invest in and increase. But importantly, CDC has made major investments in, for example, EcoBank, which has helped them reach 13.7 million customers across 36 African countries and brought them to the point where they can now successfully raise private capital, as we see today. And I'm delighted to announce that CDC will open a new office in Lagos to generate higher levels of investment in Nigeria and West Africa. And that, to me, friends, speaks about the strength of the partnership that we have with our 2 countries, but also the seriousness that we take our investment priorities to. And our investments in CDC and the United Kingdom investments is addressing one of the major constraints that businesses in Nigeria face today. You know exactly what that constraint is, and it's power. And we have helped the power market reforms, which have enabled Nigeria to raise $4.5 billion in private investment. Without these reforms, the Azuro Edo power plant, the 450 megawatt gas-fired power plant currently under construction would simply not have been possible. So this is a stunning example of where our people-to-people ties and our investment ties are coming together. And that is why this relationship is so important. But of course, Nigeria's economic transformation will require an extra $50 billion pounds a year in terms of investment capital flowing in. Now that's got to come from the private sector and private investors. The City of London, in my view, will be critical to that. And I want to see, and friends at the London Stock Exchange have heard me say previously as well, I want the City of London to become the development finance hub of the world, supporting world economic growth, reducing poverty, creating jobs, and helping some of the poorest countries in the world leave poverty behind and become the global powerhouses that they can. And last month, FSD Africa, funded by DFID, made a pioneering investment in an African local currency bond fund managed by UK investment firm Lionhead Global Partners, which enables African firms to issue bonds in their own currencies for the first time. This is just the start. And so this is a reminder of what we can do. And that initial £50 million commitment has already drawn in an additional $40 million from the IFC, FMO and the Calvert Foundation. So this shows our partnership in action. Now finally, I just want to say that Britain has an exciting future ahead when we look to leaving the European Union, but also in terms of our place in the world. How you've already heard me say about how London can be the development finance hub of the world, but also how we can be at the forefront of free markets, trade, investment, securing our prosperity for our shared purposes and mutual interests. And there is enormous potential now to strengthen our relationship between Britain and Nigeria and join in that shared agenda of shared prosperity. Now next April, London will host the 25th Commonwealth Summit. And that is going to be an exciting moment. Yes, we will have the heads of state here. Yes, we will have the showcases and the memorandums of understanding and all the key things that bring countries together. And we will continue to strengthen the Commonwealth. But actually, this will be a critical and pivotal moment in terms of how we can speak about our shared future prosperity. I've already put an open offer to the London Stock Exchange in terms of how we can showcase the Commonwealth here in the City of London, and we will make that work to show that prosperity in the developed world did not arrive just miraculously. It has come through ties of investment and trade through the decades. We choose to earn that prosperity by creating an environment that supports growth and the liberalisation of our markets and investment. But also we choose to fight the forces of protectionism and open ourselves up to the world. That is effectively what the summit will do next year. But also that summit will demonstrate how the private sector, how the City of London and how the Commonwealth can come together to secure a shared and prosperous future. Thank you very much.